Hey everyone! I was at the fabric store the other day and I found this reversible, stretchy fabric and I was totally inspired to make a pair of sweatpants with it. I'm going to be traveling. Actually, by the time you watch this, I will have already been traveling. But anyway, whenever I travel, I like to dress comfortably because there's nothing worse than being stuck for hours, super uncomfortable, and not being able to do anything about it. So finding this fabric and being inspired to make a pair of comfortable sweatpants with it was great timing. Making a pair of pants can be kind of daunting, but if you ease into it by making an easy pair of sweatpants like I'm going to be showing you today, then it's not too bad. Let's get started. You'll need fabric, about 2 yards. I had a little bit of extra fabric, but I'd rather have that than being just short. As mentioned before, I'm using reversible fabric, but that's not necessary. An old pair of sweats. You could even just pick up some sweats that fit you from the thrift store. Even if they're hideous, you can just use them for the pattern. Elastic, pins, a sewing machine, and if you have one, a serger. Fold your fabric in half lengthwise, and fold in half again. Fold your sweats in half, back side facing out. Position your sweatpants on the fabric. One edge of the pants should be fairly straight. Line that up with the edge of the fabric and smooth the pants down. At the part where it sticks out, right here, make sure to pull the seam out until it's right at the edge. Now cut around the pants, giving yourself about 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Unfold the fabric, and it should look like this. Now fold your sweatpants with the front side facing out, and be sure to adjust them so that the seam part that sticks out is right on the edge. Line up the top and the bottom of the sweatpants. The pointy part of the pants should be a little bit smaller on this side now. Trim the fabric accordingly. Now you should have 2 pieces of fabric all cut out and ready to be sewn. If you folded your fabric so the right sides are touching, you can pin these sides up already, but if not, just flip them around and then pin them up. Even though I'm attempting to make these reversible, I want the flowery side to have the visible seams, so I had to flip them around first. Pin along the curved parts on top and sew them up. If you have a serger, go ahead and use that. If not, just make sure to use the zigzag stitch. You need to use that stitch because it allows the fabric to stretch. Lay the fabric out again like so. Now grab the midpoints of the top and pull away from each other and lay the fabric back down. Now it should look like a pair of pants. Pin up the inside of the legs and sew. My original plan to make them reversible was to tack down the seams with a zigzag stitch. I originally wanted to just machine sew this part, but of course I totally didn't think about how it wouldn't be able to fit the leg parts into the machine the way I'd need to, so hand sewing it is. Of course this part is optional and I'm only doing it because I want it to be reversible. So if you're not making a pair of reversible pants, then you can just skip this step. Now to make the leg and waistbands. To make the leg parts, fold a scrap piece of fabric in half lengthwise and then widthwise and cut to size. Pin them right sides together and sew along the edge. Since I wanted this to be reversible, I did this slightly different. I cut mine to size, but then I cut it in half lengthwise and sewed them together so that when you flip them right side out, it would have the solid color on one side and the pattern on the other. Then, as I mentioned before, I sewed up the edge. I did the same thing for the waistband. You want to cut the elastic too. Make it about 1 inch shorter than the waistband and then sew that together. Now to sew these last bits on. I totally sewed the waistband on in a completely roundabout way, so I'm just going to skip over that and show you what you should do using the leg bits as a reference. pull the ends of one of the legs through the leg band, and then pin the raw edges together like so. Start by pinning the seams together, and then from there, find the midpoint on the other side of the leg and the leg band and pin there. Then find the midpoint between these two pins on each side and pin together. Doing this helps to keep it stretched evenly while you sew. Anyway, sew these up. Again, like the other seams, I'm going to have to hand sew these down. Basically, you want to repeat this process with the waistband, but first you need to insert the elastic into the waistband fabric to fully encase it. Sew this up, and if you're just doing normal sweats and you don't need to tack down these seams, then you're done. For me, I just had to hand sew these seams up, and I'm done. I hope you all enjoyed this project. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post DIY videos every Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Pinterest, and I'll leave the information to those down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week.